That was a little bit longer than normal. Okay, segment number 3. We're going to start. We're proud to bring back my buddy Eric Pretto, head coach of the Wrestling Tigers. Good to see you, Coach Pretto.
Thanks for having us, Dave.
You are the MESPY winners for 3A Wrestling Team of the Year, and you brought with you 2 of your star wrestlers, Michael McNamara. Good to see you, Michael.
Good to see you, Coach Lipe.
Your dad has been on the show, and
right.
yes, and next to you is Roman Janek. Good to see you, Roman.
Good to see you.
And your dad has been on the show.
He has.
So that's a little bit of trivia. It doesn't always work out that way, but so good to see you boys. Two of your top wrestlers. All right, Coach Pretto, describe your season.
Yeah, it was definitely a new season, and every season brings something new to the plate, and I was just excited to see the guys step up to the challenge. We made it to Team State last year. We set a school record last year with 3 state placers, and I think the team took that momentum into this season and just rolled with it. We ended up having 7 state qualifiers, which was a really cool moment in our gym at Edwardsville High School. The last time I believe we hosted sectionals would have been around 2010. So it was a kind of a neat experience to have 7 state qualifiers.
You haven't hosted a sectional since 2010?
Around then, yeah.
Wow.
They're a lot of work. We hosted our first one, and may have hosted my last one. There's a lot of work, that goes into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So once every 16 years?
Yeah.
You guys host a sectional?
We hosted regionals last year, and we hosted sectionals this year. So it was kind of a neat thing to do, both, for them to have that.
And neither one was in the John Davis Wrestling Center.
Neither one was the John Davis. It was actually a really neat experience. Last year, we were able to host regionals at Lincoln Middle School. Kind of the last hurrah before that gym, was eventually got changed into the classroom. So it was kind of a cool moment thing, especially, last year we had, the passing of Babe Stallhut. And of course he was there before that. So kind of looking up at the balcony and seeing him up there, it was kind of a neat experience and, a surreal moment knowing that he passed away 2 weeks later.
Hall of Famer Babe Stallhut, and the first wrestling coach in the history of Edwardsville High School. And you are only the 3rd wrestling coach in the history. Fourth. I thought it went Babe, John, you.
There was one more in there. At least Matt can't put down there was one more in there.
Really?
Yeah, I can't think the name off the top of my head, but there was one more coach before me.
Okay. All right, boys. Let's start with you, Roman. Describe the team season this year.
The team season was great. I think our chemistry was great. I think everybody pushed each other. The wrestling room, the intensity was high all season, and everybody had each other's backs.
It feels like, you're not a program with just like a couple good wrestlers. You got a bunch of good wrestlers. I like what you said, that everybody pushed each other, because when you got that many guys all with the same goal, it helps, right?
Roman talked about the chemistry. Having the 7 state qualifiers was really, really cool to see in our home gym. But there's a couple really cool moments of when Bryson Nuttall won that match and you seen all his teammates jump up right in that corner. Again, you saw that the rest of the tournament. When Braylon Hillemax hit that double in the 3rd period,
awesome.
There was a really cool video of the whole team up in that corner. They all jumped up. They went crazy. And just seeing them get behind each other, that's what makes Edwardsville Wrestling special. Just the way they cheer each other on, the highs and lows. And, you had 13 kids sitting in that corner cheering them on. And unfortunately, not all those kids reached their goals that day. Some of them had some heartaches. Some of them, had to pick themselves up. And for them still to cheer their teammate on, that's what makes it special.
All right, Michael, just a sophomore, already 2 trips to the state tournament. This kid's going to wind up having one of the really great careers in the history of your program. How would you describe this season?
I thought it was really good overall. I think at sectionals, our team, we cheer each other on. I feel like that brought a little bit of momentum through some of those matches, especially Braylon's at the end. The whole team was over there, and that was really fun, hanging out with each other, cheering each other on throughout sectionals.
I think wrestling is one of the hardest sports to watch. If you really care who wins, it's like it's agonizing. You know what I mean? Because it's so intense. When your kid's trying to get out of a hold, you know what I mean? Trying to escape from something. How do you deal with that?
I try to explain this to a lot of the wrestlers, and they look at me like I'm lying to them. Coaching is more exhausting than ever wrestling has ever was. I remember my high school coaches telling me the same thing, and I looked at them like, okay, yeah, right. But now that I've lived that life now, and especially that pressure, one, just hosting the sectional, and then the pressure of preparing, these guys put a lot of work in to get to there, trying to make that trip to Champaign. Only 16 wrestlers go in the entire state in 3A where all the good teams are at. So there's a lot of pressure that goes into it. So you ride those highs and lows. You see how hard they work. You see how good of kids they are, the way they represent. I always tell them, I love coaching for the fact that when a teacher comes up to me and says, oh, I have Michael McNamara in class, or I have Roman Janek in class, and they're just really good students, just really good kids. And that's the part that makes it fun, So you ride those highs and lows, and that gets exhausting, that mentally draining when, let's just say when February hit, the end of February hit, I was tired.
Yeah.
But it was a good tired, just riding those, watching them compete hard and lay it all on the line. It's a fun learning experience for me.
And this was year number 2 for you as the head coach.
Year number 3.
Year number 3.
Yep.
Are you the same coach that you were 3 years ago?
I hope not. How
are you better? Because you're not worse.
You learn. You see what works, and you see what works for certain individuals, and then you see how that can be applied to somebody else. Because I'm hoping down the road I have another Roman Janek that comes in there, and I know how to coach him. I'm hoping to have more Michael McNamara's in there. So
his name is Luca.
Yeah, that's a little stud too. I'm excited for
sure.
that one. So you kind of you have a system, that I think Edwardsville Wrestling has had a proud history of with Tiger style wrestling that John Wagner helped incorporated. I was given the keys to the kingdom. I was very lucky to come into such a good situation where all the assistant coaches stayed on staff. And then this year we're able to add some former wrestlers came back with Connor Certain and Luke Odom came back in the room, and that just made such a difference to have them to come back. And that was kind of a surreal moment for guys that we
Noah Certain?
Connor Certain, so his brother.
Okay.
Yeah. So Connor was he was during that COVID year, so he missed out on a chance to go to the tournament, but he was right in the mix. He was just a good wrestler, tough-nosed wrestler. So having those guys in the room help, and then with our middle schools, with both Sean and Sam Mead there, and then obviously with Michael's dad running our kids club, we have such good momentum.
Right.
We're just very blessed to be in such a good situation.
Yeah, I think Pat McNamara running the Edwardsville Edwardsville Wrestling Club that's your conduit right there, man. That's where the kids are getting developed pre-high school. Obviously, once they're on the high school team, they become your responsibility. That's good. That's good stuff. And I think you guys are going to be good for a while, especially when you have like good young wrestlers as well.
Coach, how many seniors you losing?
I was ready for that question because this year we had 9 seniors and out of
Wow.
our 14 lineup, and so it's fun. We had about 60 boys on our roster, so I'm excited to see who's going to step up next year. Because it's always that's what makes a good team, not just your. We had 7 state qualifiers, 4 placers. It's those other 50 guys that are also there training, battling, fighting for a spot. Those are the kids that you have the most respect for, that they're just inching. They're just trying to get in that lineup, maybe even for a moment. And that's kind of what separates us from other people.
So you mentioned all your middle school wrestling coaches, and you did not mention Tyler Perry, and I can't believe it. What do you? That's our guy, man. He's responsible for our rankings week after week after week. He's my go-to guy for all things NFL. So I love that kid. He's doing a great job, and I appreciate all the work he did.
Coach
for our
put him on the payroll. That's why.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, Sean and Sam do a good job there, and they have a lot of assistants there. And another kind of cool moment, we had Tyler Perry come back, and also and Nathan Hollis came back too. So just to have these guys come back and they recognize that these coaches on all levels have invested in them, and for them wanted to take that step and do that too, it's really cool.
Hines, Mattarelli. Who else?
Sicarelli,
of course.
Yeah.
And anybody else on your staff?
Yeah, and then like I said, we brought in Connor Certain and Luke Odom this year on the high school staff.
All right, let's talk golf for just a second. Located northeast of Edwardsville, Oakbrook Golf Club is a family-owned 27-hole public golf facility, and their goal is to offer the highest quality golf experience for a reasonable fee. Oakbrook is consistently recognized for awards such as Friendliest Staff, Best Course to Host a Fundraiser, and Best Senior Scramble in the bi-state area. From fundraisers to leagues to instruction to an afternoon out on the links by yourself or with your friends, the Brook wants to win your business. I've personally played and hosted multiple golf scrambles there. I've lost hundreds of balls there. So has Pretto. And I promise you, Mike Surrey and his staff are the best. To book your next tee time or to start organizing your next fundraising scramble, give them a call at 656-5600 or check them out online at oakbrookgc.com. And the wrestling headgear, a great place to get it? Play It Again Sports Edwardsville. Whether you're an athlete or a parent, it takes the right equipment to play your best. At Play It Again Sports Edwardsville, you can trade in your used gear for cash or trade up for something you like better right now. Not only will you save with affordable used gear, but they also supply the latest new equipment and accessories from the most popular brands. Hockey, baseball, softball, pickleball, tennis, wrestling, exercise equipment, golf, you name it. And remember, they do custom uniforms and apparel for all sports teams. Go see Dan Brynildson at Play It Again Sports Edwardsville and tell him I sent you. I thought he did something for you. Did he not? I thought he did something for wrestling. Maybe not. Okay. All right, Michael, give me your highlights. Give me your highlights of the season.
My highlight of the season was definitely taking third at state. It was a step up from last year. I had a heartbreaker in the blood round. It was the worst feeling ever, losing in the blood round. It was terrible. And but I came back this year. I took third there. I took fourth at Cheesehead. Wasn't bad. I lost to a guy I feel like I could have beaten in that third place match, but it didn't end that way. Those are probably my two biggest highlights of the season, and right now I'm just getting in the room, training as much as I can, and working hard to get ready for the Fargo this summer and the upcoming season.
Never a season off for you for wrestling, is there?
Nope.
There's never a season when you're like, okay, I'm not gonna get better at my wrestling. But that's what it takes, right?
Yeah.
And long-term goals for you, this is something that you want to continue collegiately, I'm sure?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Okay. Wrestling is something that's in your blood and a big part of your family. What do you love most about wrestling? Because wrestling is a sport that's not for everybody.
Yeah, 100%. What I love about wrestling is I love competing, and I love I can control my own outcome. You know what I mean? It's only me. Like, I don't have to have a whole team, whereas in like football or baseball, you got to have a whole team of guys. I can control my own outcome. I can work as hard as I can in the room, and everyone else, like, that doesn't affect me as much. That's what I love about it.
And yet your team supports you and cheers for you, and that's a good feeling. And I know you like to support them too.
Yeah, it's definitely like there's a team aspect to it, but you get to control your own outcome. Like, what you put in is what you get out.
Roman, it's a little bit different for you because your career is over at Edwardsville High School. What will be the things that you look back on about which you are most proud regarding your career, your 4-year career at Edwardsville High School as a wrestler?
I think I'm mostly proud about, keeping my mind straight, keeping my mental up. The biggest highlight of my high school career probably wasn't a win. I think it was the loss that I took in the semifinal match and was able to go home or go to the hotel. And, it was probably the worst moment of my life, to be honest with you. I went to the hotel and was crying for hours. Probably didn't fall asleep till like 3 a.m. Got back up the next morning and just told myself I got to get third. It's got to happen.
And then you won the next one. What was the score of that last match?
4-0, I think. 4-1, maybe. I think.
A very dominating, controlling. Maybe it was a 4-0 match, 4-1, but it was a very dominating match. Controlled the whole positions.
What did Roman mean to the program? We're not going to talk about Michael in the past tense because his career is only half over. Amazingly, he's got 2 more years to go. But what did Roman Janek mean to the program?
Just the expectations, the wanting to win. We've always had a lot of competitors in the room, but I also think Roman brought something that we hadn't had in years, and I think it's something that also started at home. I think you have 2 wrestlers right here that have great expectations, great models at home, where with Roman, he was just a tank in the weight room. Yeah. He really was, and what he put up in the weight room, obviously that was able to transition to the mat, but just his competitiveness. They both, very similar happened to both of them. I don't know. I think tennis is very similar this way, Dave. Just that adversity you have to face within a tournament. A lot of other sports, you lose, you're done for the day, and you come back the next day or the next week. But with wrestling, you're up again. You're up again soon. And at the state tournament where they both took a loss with matches that they were competitive in, had a chance to win, and for them to have to look themselves in the mirror and dig down, and just the fact that they had to look adversity right in the face and show up and show who they are and who they represent and how they represent Edwardsville wrestling. That's what I'm really proud of both of them on.
And you were a football player too, Roman. So
Yes.
you were not wrestling in the fall, but you were working on your athleticism and your strength. Obviously, you're in the weight room, and you're still doing hand fighting as a lineman. How did football affect your wrestling career?
I think it affected it, very well. My balance, push pulling, your grip strength, everything helps. Everything correlates to wrestling.
And your plan for next year is?
Wrestling at University of Central Missouri.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Super happy for you.
Thank you.
You know, Coach, something that happened this year too, speaking on Roman, he had a really nasty injury. Would that be the week after regionals?
Yes.
So the Monday
Ankle.
ankle.
Wow.
And it was, I saw it, and the first thing that went to my mind was, he's out. He's done. I don't know if I portrayed that right away, Roman. I think I calmed you down pretty good off
Yeah.
the call.
It was scary.
Talked you off the ledge for a little bit.
If you don't have that ankle, it's hard to do anything.
Yes. And what's crazy, this year was a unique year. The IHSA changed our format up, but they actually threw team sectionals in between the individual regional and sectional tournament. So Monday, he rolled his ankle, and it was a bad one. And I'm like, he's not wrestling Thursday, and that was a tough decision. I had to talk to my staff, and it was tough as far as, guys, it's hard. We have the team aspect. Roman as an individual, he might need he can get closer to 100%. And I think within a day or two, he's like, I'm wrestling Thursday against a really good wrestler from Lincoln Way West, who was a state qualifier,
Wow.
top guy. And this is one of those moments that, what makes sports fun. It reveals character, right? Roman got taken down, I think, in the first 30 seconds. So first 30 seconds, bad ankle, trying to get up, got away, got a takedown, got a road out, took him down in the third period again, which was a huge win. That set up that all Braylon Hillomax needed to do was get a win in his final match for us to win this duel, and Braylon went out and dominated. So just kind of that gut check and look yourself in the mirror and, adversity and being tough, it's a cool moment that he's going to have forever.
Was that the highlight for the team to beat West and to qualify for team state? Is that a big deal for you?
Yeah, this was the fifth team that made the Elite Eight. So back-to-back years. And actually kind of a cool thing that happened. They don't keep individual score at the tournament, at the IHSA state tournament. So, but someone always does the unofficial score. We also would have placed 8th at the individual tournament too. So I guess 2 true 8ths. Obviously we wanted to get a trophy. We've been knocking on that door 2 years in a row, so we'll see what happens next year.
Chance for it with all the kids you have coming back. Who are the kids we need to watch out for? Michael, obviously, he's sitting across from us. Who else?
We got Braylon Hillomax coming back next year. He was took 5th in state.
Oh, he wasn't a senior last year?
He's a junior.
Yeah, he's a junior coach.
He's going to be a bad man. I do not want to have to stand against.
And where does he wrestle? What weight?
Heavyweight, and he weighed around 235, 240.
Because you were at 215.
215, yes.
He's a big boy.
So I'm hoping this summer he gains another inch and another 15 pounds, and that's going to be a scary man to wrestle next year.
Plays football too, right?
Yep, really good football player. Yep.
He's going to be a load in football. One of the kids we're going to watch carefully next year. What do you think his future is? Do you think his future is in wrestling? Do you think it's in football, or is it too soon to tell? What do you think? Let's ask you. You've played both with the kid.
He's definitely looking more towards football, but he also said he's just going to take the best offer he gets.
Yeah.
If it's wrestling or football. He loves them both, so.
And you're going to wrestle, obviously.
I am going to wrestle,
No
yes.
more football for you.
No.
You're going to miss it?
I am. I already do. I miss football.
I think they're just not going. They just won't let you.
Just a little too short on the short end.
I don't know. I think you could do it if you wanted to, but that's a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot. It's a lot on your body. It's
It
a lot on
is.
your brain.
Yep.
A lot on your time. A lot on your body to do both those sports. So I think you've made a good call. Good call for you if that's what your heart's in.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the two?
Football's more, like Michael said, it's more team-based. I think, you definitely have to worry about your individual, but it really just depends on if all, everybody on the team's doing their thing, then you guys are going to do good. But if someone messes up, then it goes bad.
And football is once a week.
Yep.
Football is once a week. You
Yes.
you train and you prepare mentally and physically for that once a week. Wrestling, how many times are we wrestling in a week? 3?
It could be up to, you could have 5, 6, 7 matches during that week.
Wow.
You know, depending on what we have with our tournaments. And you guys tell me, what'd you guys have at Cheesehead? How many matches?
I think I had like
7 or
7.
8 or 8.
I'm
It's 7 or
pretty
8
sure
matches
7.
in 2 days at Cheesehead, and you're talking about top teams in the nation.
Yeah, me and Simon were exhausted after everyone was running around the hotel. We were like laying on the beds up in the
That's a lot of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You have the best facility of the John Davis Wrestling Center. That's a key to your program. You've got the Edwardsville Wrestling Club, which there are very few wrestling clubs in the area that are close. There are a few. There are definitely some excellent wrestling clubs out there for kids that are out there. But what are the other keys? What are the other reasons why you've gone to state as a team back-to-back the last 2 years, and you led the area along with CM? You had the same number of individual qualifiers. Theirs were in 2A. What's the secret?
It sounds so cliche to say this, but I think what makes Edwardsville Wrestling very special is just the family atmosphere. Their parents are involved, but it's not isolated to them. We had such a good key group of parents that set a high expectation. You know, they're not there just for their own kid. They're there for everybody. They're to cheer everybody on, the highs, the lows. They're riding those highs and lows just like the coaches are. And just the trust they give us, you know, it's very humbling. You know, you talk about the John Davis Wrestling Center also. The thing that I love about it is these kids respect it. They understand what they have. Now, they grew up with it. You know, a lot of these kids were, you know, it wasn't, the facility I think was built in 2009, I believe. 9
Old
or
enough.
10. Yeah, so they grew up with it, you know, and I always tell them my favorite thing to do is watching someone's reaction for the first time when seeing that building, because it's special. You know, this is not the norm what we have, but they do a great job of appreciating it.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
I got one question for Michael before we call it. Michael, if you have to look locally, who's your competitor that you go up against that you just don't want to go against if you didn't have to? Anybody?
Who's your biggest challenge?
Yep.
Who's my biggest challenge? I don't really
You don't
know.
have one, do you?
I don't know about that. Everyone's a challenge. Every match is gonna be a fight. It's not gonna go the way you think it will at all. Somebody's gonna do something crazy or scramble. I think the biggest challenge is like in the wrestling room. The guys I wrestle against every day, they fight me pretty hard.
When's the last time you wrestled your dad? Do you that's just, that's not an obvious question, because I could see some dads being like, no, I'm not wrestling my kid, and other dads are like, yeah, we're gonna do this every day.
I mean, probably a couple days, a week ago. Yeah,
I always tell him.
Does he go hard?
He lightens up on me a little bit because he's bigger, but there are some times whenever he does go hard and it's pretty tough. But
I always tell Michael, go beat that old man up. You know, he's due for it.
It's not that
No
simple.
chance.
He's pretty good.
I'm aware, Michael. He kicked my butt in college too.
Did he?
Yes.
He did?
Yeah, oh yeah. He was my college coach my freshman year. That's how I ended up.
I love asking the wrestlers, which coaches do you wrestle? Do you wrestle Coach Hines?
I did one time this year, yeah. Like, not like anything crazy, but yeah, he just threw me down. He's a big old bear. He's strong.
He's a big old bear until he moved the wrestling mats and tore his bicep.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
That sounds like one of the worst memories ever. Okay, I think one of the worst injuries, not memories. I think it's facility. I think you have great kids, great families, unbelievable staff. Mattarelli, Hines, on and on and on. That helps a ton too. I think you got all these things going in the right direction, and you got to keep it going. Got to keep improving, right?
Yeah. Anyone else's expectations won't even measure up to the ones that we have for ourselves. It's better than the day before, and just competing hard. You know, it's the last few years have been really good. The last 10, 15 years, and a lot of that is the expectation that John Wagner started for us, and people all over the state of Illinois, up north. You know, it used to be, we got a team from the South, that's easy, but they now know when Edwardsville walks in that gym that they're in for a fight now too.
Well, you know, I think it's been more than 15 years, because I think Wagner's had that thing going pretty.
25 years. Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah,
because I've been around for 32 years, and I think for the last, maybe the first couple of years it was still Edwardsville hadn't gotten over the hump as far as the dominant large school wrestling school in the area.
Mm-hmm.
But for the last 25 years or so, it pretty much has been. That's the way it looks to me, at least from the outside. I'm not a wrestling coach. I don't see it on a daily basis, but that's the way it looks to me from the outside looking in. All right, guys. Got a couple questions here before we do our shout outs.
Okay.
All right.
Let's start with this guy. Let's just do a few sports and lit questions for Roman Janek.
This is gonna be rough.
Coach, you know what? You said what probably made it special for us or gives us over that hump. I think we got to get a little credit. That picture you took with the wrestlers before they went to the state tournament,
was such a good one.
You got in your stance with them, and it
in
was
my wrestling T-shirt.
In your wrestling T-shirt. So if there was a difference maker that weekend, I'm going to give it to you, Coach.
I was kind of telling him to get down in that stance and control the hands.
Yeah, there you go.
And you just got it. It's just a fight.
You're natural. I guess you're getting added to staff next year.
I would love to. I don't know what I could. Could I be in charge of like post game snacks?
I don't know. I think, do you guys?
I would like
How
that,
about this?
yeah.
Does Coach Leip need to sit on the bench one time for a duel next year?
Oh, I would love
Yes.
to.
You're in.
I would
You're in.
love to.
Both you guys are more than welcome to come sit on the bench of
Awesome.
the duel one time.
Who'd you do your independent research on, Roman?
Wilma Rudolph.
Wilma Rudolph.
Yep.
From?
What do you mean from?
Where's she from?
Tennessee.
Very good. Clarksville, Tennessee.
Clarksville, Tennessee.
Yeah, and she was the first African American female to dominate the Olympics, all those gold medals. The Gazelle.
Yep.
They called her that. The French actually called her the Black Gazelle, which seems a little weird in 2026 to say that. But but good for you on that topic. You had a good topic. You did a good job in the class. And who was your favorite person that we studied?
My favorite person. That's a good one. I'm gonna say Roberto Clemente.
Very good.
Yep.
Good call,
I
Roman.
like that
I
guy.
got top two of your classes.
Yeah, very good.
Arthur Ashe.
Arthur Ashe
was a good one. Too.
Arthur Ashe is
Yeah.
really good. All right, well, it was a pleasure having you in class
Thank you. It was a pleasure having you too. It was a fun one.
most of the time.
Most of the time.
especially when you were there on time and you weren't talking to Grace Hughes. But in a friendly way.
In a friendly way. She's my friend.
Yes, in a friendly.
Yep.
I'm not going to get you in trouble with your girlfriend, who I also had in class
You did.
last semester. She's
Yep.
a great kid. And I got a shout out to Von Zetta
Von Zetta.
and Tank.
Von Renee.
Yeah, she's
Yep.
she's a great lady. Worked at EHS forever. And Michael, shout out to both of your parents as well. They're both great
Yeah.
people. And little brother Luca gets his name mentioned on the podcast one more time. All right, how about some shout outs for you?
To anybody or what?
And you name it, bud. It's up to you.
Shout out Coach Pretto. Shout out Michael. Shout out David Leip. Shout out Coach.
Paulo.
What is it?
Paulo,
Paulo.
Yep.
Shout out Coach Paulo and
Luke
Luke.
Slemmer.
Luke Slemmer.
But we're all here. You don't need to shout us out. Who about the people that aren't here? How about your sweet girlfriend?
Shout out Kennedy Womack.
There you go.
Yeah.
Shout out Tank. And Mom. Shout out Danielle Sparks.
There you go. Good job. Good work. All right. Shout out your future teammates.
Shout out Braylon. Shout out Simon, my future roommate. Shout out, I already said Michael. Shout out everybody who's
Ryan Ritchie. Ian
Yep.
Trowernick.
Ian, all of them.
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry, TP.
Michael.
Big sports guy.
Yeah.
I want to shout out my dad, especially. He's helped me a lot. My mom, Andrea. They love me so much. They support me a lot. I'm so grateful to have them. I also want to shout out my coaches, like Coach Pretto over there. He's pushed me a lot in the room. Coach Ciccarelli, always helping the team out, pushing us. Coach Mead last year was my coach. He was a great coach. He's so good at getting the beginners in it and building guys up in middle school. Coach Muldoon, shout out Coach Muldoon.
Yeah.
He's helped me a lot. He's done privates with me, looked at film. I love talking to him. He's pretty funny. And I'm just so grateful for everyone that's helped me throughout my career so far.
Good answer. How about you?
You know, one of the things that I think also helped us jump another level, we've always lifted, but having Roman's dad, Chris Janek, come in, Tank's training facility, it is hands down one of the most premier training facilities in the state. Not just because of what's there, just his expertise. You know, just how much he knows and how much he invests in the kids. The kids hang on every word that he says, and they put big numbers up. You know, so I really appreciate Chris Janek all the time that he's invested into the program with us and helping our kids jump levels.
Yeah, especially Coach Tank. He's helped us so much.
I spent a lot of time looking at Tank's Sunday photo dumps and all that stuff. I look at Tank lifting with the chains, and the guy's got so many plates on the bar. I'm like, how's that even possible?
The best part is when you get to know him a little more. He goes, tore my pec again. Look at this, and there's an all black and blue. He's like, and he goes, I'll be benching next week again.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Congratulations. We'll be following you next year.
Sounds good.
Great job. Loved having you in class. I'll be following you next year. Well, maybe we'll see you. Maybe we'll see you American Lit. Coach, maybe we'll see you on the Golden Tee range sometime soon.
I'm in.
Congratulations on the MESPY Edwardsville High School 3A Wrestling Team of the Year. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, coaches.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Okay, KP, before we get out of here, we've got to do our weekly trivia question presented by the good folks at Little Caesars Pizza. And if you answer this correctly, the first person to answer this correctly, and I will only accept answers via email. You have to email me at mespdave@gmail.com. The first correct answer wins a free pizza from our participating Little Caesars restaurants from Alton, Glen Carbon, Troy, Collinsville, Shiloh, or Granite City. Congratulations to Dave Kurgan, who won the last question. He answered, at what school did Coach Sunkett coach football before he won all those state championships at Eastside? And the correct answer was, do you remember?
Riverview Gardens.
Riverview Gardens. So today's question, and we are going to start asking a question weekly right before the conclusion of the show. And tonight's question is, how many state championships did the great Craig Virgin from Lebanon, Illinois, win?
University of Illinois grad.
University of Illinois grad, former Olympian. How many state championships did Craig Virgin win total? Send that email to me at mespdave@gmail.com. Email questions only. First right answer wins. And thank you all for listening to the Metro East Sports Podcast presented by Little Caesars Pizza. And huge thanks to our guests, Ian Thurlow and Aletha Rice of ATAR Football Club, and Coach Pretto, Roman Janek, and Michael McNamara of EHS Wrestling. And for partners, Cassins, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, Keller Williams Marquee, the Blasting Game Group, Integrity Spine and Joint Center, Front Office, Fiduciary Network, Oakbrook Golf Club, and Play It Again Sports Edwardsville. And for my teammates, Kevin Paulo, Matt Camp, Mike Baxter, Luke Slemmer, Diego Solares of Scout Connect, and Sophia Jacoby. Thank you for listening to the Metro East Sports Podcast, talking all things sports in the Metro East.